Hello again. Hey, I got a question. Do you know why congressional representatives are called congressional representatives? Well, the idea back then was that the people within a state would elect representatives that had similar values as theirs. Since the people themselves can't represent themselves, they chose individuals to do that for them. Now, if you watched some of my countless videos on the topic of Congress, you know that it no longer works. And it hasn't worked for a very long time, because what tends to happen is these congressional representatives go into the survival mode. And what they do is they tend to vote mainly on party line. Every once in a while, a few will cross the line, like the rhinos that we have. Oh, you don't know who they are? Lame Brain Johnny McCain, the songbird of the Hanoi Hilton, I believe, is one of them. As is the senator out of Carolina, Lindsey Graham. And they're not alone. There's a number of them. And it's not just the Republicans that do that, or those that call themselves Republicans. Democrats do it as well. But the majority of them vote on party line. And they have no interest or no regard for what the constituents that put them there want. So it doesn't work. So if it doesn't work, why have them? If you take a look at the overall cost of a congressional representative with their multiple offices, their staffs, their travel, mainly first class, each one costs the American taxpayer around $5 million per year. Do you think you're getting your money's worth? Because I certainly don't. Why not just have 2 or 3 members in Congress? 2 or 3 senators. Let them hash it out. They're going to do what they want to do anyway. And usually, it's whatever the president, especially this particular president, Barack Hussein Obama, wants. So why have them? We could save billions, if not trillions of dollars, by eliminating them. They don't do what they were elected to do. The system back then was different than the system is now. Back then, they weren't paid. They did it on a voluntary basis. They leave their farms to try to put the country on its proper tracks. None of these senators, none of these congressmen do that now. They're only interested in career building. Take a look at Jeffrey the Flake Flake. 10 years in Congress, 5 terms. After his 3rd term, he said he wasn't going to run anymore. And then when he asked why did he say what he said, he said he lied. And they're proud of it. And then he becomes a senator. And what does he do? Well, he travels with Barack Hussein to Africa. He travels with John Kerry to other parts of the world. Is he representing his constituents in Arizona when he votes in favor of that idiotic, moronic deal that those 2 morons put together? I don't know, folks. To me, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, since what once was no longer is, and what once worked no longer works. Our Supreme Court doesn't work. You have justices appointed by presidents. Elena Kagan was never even a judge. She was an attorney. appointed by Barack Hussein Obama. I don't know, folks. The whole thing is a complete and total mess. Congress doesn't work. The Supreme Court doesn't work. The Department of Justice doesn't work. The CIA doesn't work. Our Air Force is run by a female who's never flown in a plane other than as a passenger. The Air Force doesn't work. Our entire military is run by General Dempsey, who's in Obama's back pocket. Can you not see any of this being an issue? I certainly can. But you know what? Most of my videos fall on deaf ears. They don't matter. Why do I do what I do? For those few subscribers that are loyal to my channel. For those few subscribers that derive benefit from not all that I say, but from a fair amount of what I say. And what do I say? I don't make the news. You know, I had a viewer say that, well, all you do is recite whatever you see on Fox News. Well, part of that's true. But I also recite what I receive from many of my viewers. And I always make mention of that. And for those folks that don't like what I do, find another channel. I could care less. You're not putting any money in my pocket. Anyway, it is what it is. You know what I think. You know why I think what I think. Let me know what you think as it pertains to our Congress and to our Supreme Court and to our Department of Justice and to our CIA and to our military. Obama has destroyed everything that's been in his path. Putting a homosexual in charge of the army is about as insane as putting a homosexual into the White House. Look what we got from that experiment.